What's good, YouTube? Welcome back to another video. So today I'm giving you guys my Money in the Bank 2025 predictions. Money in the Bank is this Saturday, and at the time of recording this video, there are only 4 matches that are confirmed for this show. Now, at the time of recording the video, also SmackDown has not happened yet, so it's always a possibility they might add another match. But I highly doubt that that's going to be the case. So I think we're going to stick with the 4 match card. I'm very interested to see how they're gonna have this show be structured and how much time each match is gonna get. Because usually these shows end up being maybe almost 3 hours or something like that, maybe 2.5 to 3. So we're gonna see how this show does end up being and everything like that. But the first match we're gonna start off with is the women's Money in the Bank ladder match. We have Stephanie Vaquer, Alexa Bliss, Roxanne Perez, Naomi, Rhea Ripley, and Julia. Now, me personally, I think this might be the best lineup for the women's Money in the Bank wise ever. You have 3 women who just recently got called up, who I think, if pushed correctly, they're going to be pushing them as the next faces of the women's division, and I'm all for it. You have Stephanie Vaquer, who had a great run in NXT. Literally, Roxanne Perez was the face of NXT, and we had Julie come in as well. All 3 former NXT women's champions in their own right, and stuff like that. So we're gonna go through the different ones and talk about who I think is gonna win and who's not. So the first person I don't think is gonna win is going to be Julia. I think Julia has solely pretty much set her sights on the US Championship, which is held by Zelina Vega. So I think that is the route that they're going to take with Julia going forward. And I'm not mad at it. I think it gives some type of importance potentially for the women's mid-card titles, because they need some love and care right now, let's be honest. So I do think Julia will be setting her sights on that. And the next person that I don't think is going to win is be Alexa Bliss. I just feel like they're doing this feud with Charlotte, and I think that's the feud that they're probably going to be going in. Maybe they might end up being in some type of alliance. Maybe. I'm not too sure. Y'all comment down below. Let me know if y'all guys think that will be the case and stuff like that, because I could see them doing that, especially with what we've been teasing. Maybe they do put Alexa in the mid-card division, have her go after the U.S. title at some point. I think that could be really interesting as well. Next person I don't think is going to win is going to be Rhea Ripley. Now, I understand Rhea Ripley is one of the most consistently over in the WWE Women's Division. She is pretty much the face of the Women's Division right now, kind of, anyway. Like, she gets some of the biggest cheers, the biggest pops, period, point blank, from men or female, male or female. And then on top of that, you also got to understand this is her first Women's Money in the Bank match, and she like, if she's like a big draw for the Women's Division as a whole, so it makes a lot of sense to have her in here. I don't think she needs to win it. I think she's a walking Money in the Bank briefcase, where she does not need to win the briefcase to get to an opportunity for this championship. She can easily go to Adam Pearce and say, I want a title opportunity. She's probably going to get it. So I don't think she needs to win it. The next person I don't think will be winning is Stephanie Vaquer. Now, understand, Stephanie Vaquer, she really impressed me on Monday Night Raw when she came in. She had her qualifying match with Liv Morgan and Ivy Nile, which I enjoyed. Then she had her stare-off between her and Rhea Ripley. And I think we will get a tease between those two, a potential match between those two in this match, and it will lead to that down the line at some point. But I do think we'll get that. But I don't think Stephanie Vaquer will get the win here, because I don't think she's going to be fully healthy coming into this match, because she has a tag match the same day, about an hour before. And I usually think that they have the women's matches, the women's Money in the Bank start, because last year they had the men start. So I do think they'll change back and have the women start this year. So I do think Stephanie might be somewhat healthy, but I don't think she's going to get the win, unfortunately. So it comes down to 2 women, both Roxanne Perez and Naomi. Now, these 2 have the most case of winning and have the story behind it to win. So for Naomi, she has a lot of story going with Tiffany Stratton. Tiffany Stratton cashed in back in January while Naomi and Nia Jax were having a match. She costed Naomi the match and cashed in on Nia Jax to get the championship. So you have that tie-in, a callback there, where it's a full circle moment where maybe Naomi does get the briefcase to cash in on the woman who costed her becoming champion months and months ago, and then gets her get back there. And then also you can lead into that big 3 triple threat, which I do think they might do at SummerSlam, with that being none other than Naomi, Bianca, and Jade Cargill, which I do think will be a great match as well. And then on top of that, you also have to understand, with Evolution coming up, they can have Naomi cash in there, because you know they're going to want to make that show overall feel important and have moments that people are going to remember. And what better moment of them remembering is Naomi cashing in to become women's champion on that show. So I do expect them to allude to that maybe throughout the match. And then you have Roxanne Perez. The whole stuff with the Judgment Day, Roxanne Perez, you can hammer home the point of what Finn's been saying, that maybe Finn is right and Liv is wrong. Maybe she has lost a step. Maybe since she's came back, people have been saying she's soft. She's She's lost a step. She's not there anymore. So maybe you have Roxanne win the briefcase to cause more attention and drive that point home a little bit more. And then maybe when Liv has an opportunity to become world champion again, Roxanne's the reason Liv just loses. Similar to what happened with Tiffany Stratton last year. And then what happens? Liv, gets more pissed off. She becomes more pissed off because of Roxanne costing her the championship. And now Roxanne's walking out around with the world title. I think that is a story I think people can buy into, and it's a long term. And also, you got to understand, Roxanne Perez is probably one of Triple H's favorites. On top of that, she fits the mold of what a Money in the Bank briefcase holder could really be. So I expect them to kind of lean into that. So my prediction, I'm going to say Roxanne Perez becomes your Miss Money in the Bank. I would not be surprised if Naomi does win. Don't get me wrong. But I can see Naomi winning it straight up from Tiffany. Let's be honest. I can see her winning it straight up for her. So my prediction, your Miss Money in the Bank, none other than Roxanne Perez. Now the next match is for the Women's Intercontinental Championship. Becky Lynch versus Lyra Valkyria. They have definitely elevated Lyra in this feud. Lyra has been elevated with this feud. I know people have their opinions on Becky, but Becky has helped elevate Lyra. A couple months ago, people really didn't know who Lyra really was, even though she was champion. People really weren't behind her, but 2 months later, people are really behind her. They enjoy what she does. The match they had at Backlash really helped cement herself in the WWE, and with a great match like that. So I think this is going to be a really interesting match, and I think it's going to be really good. It could be just as good as Backlash, or maybe even better than Backlash. We don't know. But I do expect Becky Lynch to get the win here, because you got to understand the caveat of this. If Becky Lynch loses, she can no longer challenge for the Women's Intercontinental Championship as long as Lyra Valkyria is still your champion. But if Lyra Valkyria loses, Lyra has to pretty much shake Becky Lynch's hand and hold her hand up and stuff like that. And that kind of plays into Becky Lynch's ego. I do think Becky Lynch will win. Lyra will have to, pretty much hold her hand, but Becky is not going to allow her to do it. She attacks Lyra, and then Bayley makes her return, making a save, and then we go into Becky and Bayley going into Evolution, and even then, we can still have Lyra Valkyria still be around it, and then coming out of Evolution going into SummerSlam, you have a triple threat. This gives something for the IC title to do. It gives it some importance. It gives it some relevance. And I would not be mad at it. It definitely deserves it. So I'm going to say Becky Lynch will become your new Women's Intercontinental Champion. The next match is the Men's Money in the Bank match. We have Solo Sikoa, Seth Rollins, El Grande Americano, Andrade, Penta, and LA Knight. I don't think Solo's going to win this. I know people have been making the idea of him potentially winning, but I think Solo's whole thing is with the U.S. Championship with Jacob Fatu, so I do expect that to happen. I don't see Andrade winning this. I was surprised he even qualified for this. I was expecting Carmelo Hayes to win this. I think he would have had a better shot of potentially winning this. I don't think Andrade is going to win it. Penta will be very interesting as well, but I don't think they would probably do that. I think him and kind of El Grande Americano cancel each other out. The thing with El Grande Americano, it would be interesting, but I feel like they would probably do something interesting and crazy out of left field by having him cash in for the AAA Mega title. I personally would like to see it be used for that, but I would not be surprised if it does end up being used for that either. So I don't think El Grande Americano should win either. Then it comes down to LA Knight and Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins has the Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed in his corner to potentially help him, and also Paul Heyman as well. You can use those two to potentially help those guys to potentially help him, but I don't think that's going to happen. I think he's made a lot of enemies since post WrestleMania with Seth Rollins making enemies with Sami Zayn and CM Punk. Those two might come down there to try to do something, but I think this is where we get the return of Roman Reigns, and I think Roman Reigns pulls a Brock Lesnar from 2019, where it looks like Seth Rollins is about to go up the ladder, unhook the briefcase for Roman Reigns, music to hit. Seth Rollins is shocked. Roman Reigns comes down there, pushes Seth Rollins off the ladder, and then we maybe go into a feud between those two going into SummerSlam. So that's what I think is going to happen. But I don't expect Seth Rollins to win. But it would be interesting if he does, because we do know Gunther and Jay will be on Raw, and I can see a situation where he does make win the match and try to cash in there. But I don't want a situation similar to what they did with Drew McIntyre last year. Drew McIntyre didn't necessarily need the briefcase to help elevate his feud with CM Punk. The feud was already elevated. The people were already invested in that feud. I don't think they necessarily need to do that again here. So I don't have money. So that means one person that's left, that being LA Knight. LA Knight, it's his time to finally, it's the third time he's been in this. The third time is the charm here. I think going back to 2023, he was mega over. People wanted him to see it. People were literally losing their minds at the actual sight of him about to unhook the briefcase, only for him to end up losing that. Damian Priest end up winning that. Then you also got to understand that they also have multiple ventures or where they can have him cash in here. I think it's very interesting. Like 2024, you had him and Jay, the whole yeet and yeah thing. People wanted to see that, but they didn't do that either. I think it's his time here. He needs to win it. I would not be surprised if they do a shocking thing on Raw where maybe Jay loses the title to Gunther, only for LA Knight to cash in to become world champion, which will be really interesting. Gets him off SmackDown, gets him away from the Bloodline stuff, because he's pretty much done that. He's done the U.S. title stuff. They haven't really done anything with the main event scene. I don't know if they would do him and Cena, but there is history there, so they could do that. But I don't know if they will. So I'm going to say maybe he wins the briefcase and goes over to Raw. It gives him something fresh, new opponents and stuff like that, a new landscape and everything like that. So I'm going to say LA Knight wins the briefcase. You also got to understand one thing they always do with the briefcase and Royal Rumble winners, they don't have them be on the same brand. They end up having them be on separate brands. So I expect them to do that here as well. So I do expect LA Knight to win. And then we have the tag match between Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso versus Logan Paul and John Cena. I'm going to be real with you. I have not been invested in this feud at all, to be honest. I don't really expect too much from this match. I'm still trying to figure out why this is main eventing, unless they're going to do something really, really shocking here by having maybe a Money in the Bank potential cash in here. That's outside of that, I don't know why this is main eventing. So I'm going to make it quick, simple, to the point. I expect Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso to win this, and maybe Logan Paul takes the pin, because I don't think they would have John Cena take a pin right now, especially with him being the champion. I don't expect Cody Rhodes to take a pin. I don't expect Jey Uso to take a pin either, unless it's a Money in the Bank cash in. So I have Cody and Jey Uso getting the win here. But y'all comment down below. Let me know what are your predictions for Money in the Bank this Saturday. Make sure you super kick that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you guys haven't already. Turn that post notification bell on as well, so every time I post a new video, it's a reaction video, rant video, live stream, any type of video, you can be a little bit things, and I do drop a video, and it's the spirit that subscribe by 6 seconds out of your day. Do those 3 things for me, helps in the progression of my channel as well. But with that being said, hope everybody has a great day, great rest of your week, and I'll see you guys in the next video.